This week, we're going to find all about some of the celebrations coming up for the 50th anniversary of the mission of Apollo 16.
And we're joined by Christina Korp, one of the organizers of these events, to tell us more.
Please let us know if you have any plans for this anniversary. You can contact us at Space and Things 1 on Twitter and at Space and Things Podcast on Instagram and Facebook, or via the contact form on our site.
And if you haven't done so already, please leave us a review on your podcast platform. 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. We're a space podcast. We just want as many stars as possible. But for now, enjoy episode 83 of the Space and Things podcast.
Oh my God! Unbelievable! Unbelievable, but it is great to touch.
You're listening to Space and Things with Dave Giles and Emily Carney.
I'm Emily Carney.
And I'm Dave Giles, and welcome to episode 83 of our podcast. How you doing, Emily?
I'm hanging in there. I'm doing good. I'm really excited for the month of April because a lot of cool stuff is coming up.
Absolutely.
And we're going to talk about some of it on this week's show. We got, I think Yuri's Night is coming up. We got Fred Hayes' book is coming out, which is called Never Panic Early. I'm very excited about that.
Do we have a release date for that?
According to Amazon.com, it is slated to be released on April 5th, 2022. So we're less than a month away from the book release. I don't want to spoil it too much. I have seen an advanced copy of the book.
Amazing.
You got to get it. Please just buy it. Just order it now. just if you're broke, just steal it. I mean, just go to just rob a store when it comes out. I mean, I'm going to get arrested. Oh my God. Oh my God. Emily Carney incited listeners to commit robbery.
To steal Fred Hayes' book.
Yeah, to go straight up steal things this week. Yeah, like, oh my God. No, you have to get it. I love it. I think it's marvelous, but I'm a little biased because I love Fredo. He's a fantastic guy, and he's a big supporter of a lot of great causes in space. He's 88, and he shows no sign of slowing down, which is incredible. I'm 44, and I'm like, I need a nap every 5 minutes, it seems. But yeah, so just go get the book. Just get it. That's all you need to. That's my review of the book. Thank you.
Job done. Job done. Yes. Yeah, I did it.
Just get the book. And Apollo 16 as well is celebrating a big anniversary in April.
Yes, it is. And we've heard that there are some events taking place. And amazingly for me, some of these events are happening here in London. So today I'm talking to Christina Korp, the producer of these London events, to find out more.
Okay, are you guys ready? Here we go. Mark. Hey, that beauty is going right in. Outstanding.
Hi, Christina. Welcome back to Space and Things, and thanks for joining us once again. Can you believe it's nearly been a year since you were last on? Anyway, let's get stuck in. Tell us about what you've got planned for the Apollo 16th anniversary.
Well, first of all, oh my gosh, I can't believe that's how long it's been.
I know, right?
Today. But maybe it's because I got to see you in London.
That might be it.
Gosh, yeah. Apollo 16 50th anniversary. You know, I have to tell you, I was doing this zero gravity flight with Charlie Duke last year, and he was telling me stories about Apollo 16, and he started telling me about how Apollo 16 didn't get a goodwill tour to go around the world like the other Apollo missions did. And I was like, what? And he was like, because I asked him where they went, and he said, well, it's because we were on the backup crew for Apollo 17, so we didn't get to go anywhere. So that kind of started me on this mission of like, wow, I've got to take Charlie Duke on his goodwill tour. Yeah. Well, when I started making an itinerary for him, he started getting kind of freaked out about it, about everywhere I wanted to take him. But in the meantime, you know, I was having conversations with people about the UK because I was doing zero gravity flights and doing lots of things over here, and the Brits couldn't come over here. And so a lot of the Brits started asking me like, hey, are you ever going to do anything over here? Have you ever thought about doing a gala in London? And I was like, man, I'm done with galas. but then I met someone else who said, you know, if you ever want to do an event in London, I've got a venue that I would be willing to donate. I would love to meet an astronaut. And so I was like, I'll keep that in mind, you know, because people keep asking me. So I started like asking some of my friends in London, hey, if I do an event in London, like to celebrate, I don't know, maybe Apollo 16. Would you guys come? And the first thing everybody said was, are you doing an event at the Science Museum? So I thought, shoot, I guess I'm going to start looking into doing an event at the Science Museum. So that's how this whole thing came about. It wasn't some big grand plan, for a long term. It was one of these things where I really wanted to help Charlie celebrate the 50th anniversary of Apollo 16. And then it's just kind of turned into, well, let's do it in London, because a lot of people are like, why London? And, I tell people all the time when I go over there, the Uber drivers, but more so the taxi drivers, are the most space crazed people I've ever met.
Is that true? I didn't know
That
that.
is
Wow.
totally true. When I'm in a black taxi in London, I cannot tell you how many times if they see, so like an astronaut on my shirt, or they see my Saturn necklace I wear, they'll start talking to me about space, and they will start talking about what's going on in the space program today, or SpaceX. And that happens more in England than anywhere else that I go.
That's amazing. Well, I now know what small talk I'm using next time I'm getting in a taxi. Anyway, you got 3 days worth of events at the start of May. So let's start with the first day. 2 completely free events at the Science Museum. Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about those.
Sure. So I'm obviously doing this big gala, which is not everybody can come to. I mean, it's not an inexpensive endeavor to do a gala in London at an event that I'm bringing 10 astronauts over
Absolutely.
for. So I really wanted to do something for the public, to give people a chance who couldn't come to the gala to be able to come and meet some of the astronauts and talk to them. So we're doing astronaut chat in the Science Museum in the IMAX theater. And they have not put the tickets on sale yet, by the way, but they will very soon, probably sometime in the next week, because it's a free event, but it will be a ticketed event, because I'm quite sure it'll be popular.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so at 2:00 on Monday, May 2nd, which is a bank holiday, and partially why we chose it, to be honest, so that families can come and bring their kids.
Yeah.
So that'll be an astronaut chat in the IMAX theater, followed by a book signing. And the book signing is open to the public, to anybody, as you know. That's with Nicole Stott signing her book Back to Earth, and Cyan Proctor signing her poetry book, The Art of Inspiration, which is really cool. It's an augmented reality interactive book.
Amazing.
So those are the big public events that are on Monday, May 2nd. And I really, really hope people, try to come and see them, even if they aren't able to get a ticket, to come to say hello to the astronauts at the book signing.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. I mean, all the taxi drivers in London are going to be there. Definitely on a bank holiday Monday too. And then you've got the gala in the Science Museum the next day. And as you said, you've got 10 astronauts coming over. And the Science Museum is not a cheap place to do anything. I asked about doing a music video in there once. So expensive, ridiculous. But logistically, Christina, planning an event like this must be a nightmare. Your to-do list must be ridiculous, and your spreadsheet skills must be off the scale. Where do you start with something like this? Do you get the guest first, or the venue? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the star of the show is Charlie Duke, 10th man to walk on the moon. So, it's talking it through with Charlie and his schedule and saying, hey, if I was to do this event, does this work out? Can you hold the dates? So then he does that, and then I have to go and talk to everybody at the venue and then try to negotiate things. And then what happens is, of course, I work really closely with Nicole Stott and Cyan Proctor. So they're like, London, I want to come to London. So it's not that hard to convince them. And then Susan Kilrain, who's another astronaut, second woman to pilot the space shuttle and youngest person ever to pilot the space shuttle. She's like, I want to come to London. So convincing astronauts to come to London is not the hard part. But then, like you say, logistically, then I got to figure out how to get them all over here. Thankfully, I have a really good relationship with British Airways. They've been really wonderful to me and Buzz Aldrin for many years. We did some charity events in the past that they flew us over for aviation charities. And then, they've been very helpful to help. Actually, they helped fly Duran Duran over for me for the Apollo 50th Gala.
Nice.
And so I have a very positive relationship with British Airways. They're really, really appreciative too of, the aviators, of course, the astronauts as well. And so there's always a give and take there too. We usually have the astronauts come and do a safety talk for the pilots. So it's not just a one-way street. We do things together, and always with the intention of inspiring public and and people to look into space as something that they, can feel a part of. And obviously aviation is a huge part of space, even if a lot of people don't realize it.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's absolutely amazing what you're doing here. It's really quite special. And of course, then there's the other event the day after on May the 4th, the after party. And it's Star Wars themed, of course, which is going to be a whole load of fun. But I can't seem to find a venue for that one yet. Have you announced that yet?
Well, I have not announced the details for the venue for the May the 4th Be With You after party, because I'm actually not at this stage unless something drastic changes. I'm not planning to sell tickets to that. That's basically an added value event for the gala attendees. So, when people are buying tickets to their gala, they're really going to 2 nights of events.
Nice.
The difference between it is, though, obviously the event at the Science Museum is a black tie, high-end ball gown, event at the Science Museum on the 3rd. But the May the 4th Be With You is a fancy dress party.
Complete contrast.
Yeah, we want people to come in full-on Star Wars gear, whatever sciencey, spacey gear they want to wear. And I have to tell you, I thought, okay, maybe I'll get 1 or 2 astronauts to come to that event.
They're all signed up for it.
Well, most of them said, hey, I get to come to that event too, right? Right?
Amazing.
Am I part of that too? So the funny thing is that's really going to be attended by, several of the astronauts as well, the ones who are able to stay. And then it's a night of music and dancing and fun and, live music, as well as we'll have some DJs there. And so it's really more the party night.
Absolutely.
But not doing it after the gala so that everybody's up till, crack of dawn and just exhausted. Because both nights really deserve to have their own time, to hang out with the astronauts.
Yeah. It's funny because I remember being at Kennedy Space Center for the Apollo 11 anniversary event, and I wasn't at the gala, but I did make it to the after party, the Duran Duran concert, and we had this wonderful moment when all these coaches arrived delivering all these people in their tuxedos and ball gowns, and they were on one side, and on the other side we were all wearing t-shirts and jeans. It must have been quite the sight for the band. Anyway, one of our Patreons, Ed, has asked whether guests at the gala get any swag. He seemed to recall your previous events having some pretty cool things given to guests.
Yep, we always have swag bags that are full of fun, spacey things. As a matter of fact, I wonder if I can show you. I have some special socks that I've had made. Oh darn it, I don't think I have any in here. They've got the moon on the front of them with a lunar lander on top.
Nice.
And then on the foot of them says Space for a Better World, which is my 501c3 nonprofit, which is, what I'm trying to do with this gala, of course, is celebrate Apollo 16 and looking to the future of space and having this very diverse, inclusive cast of astronauts. I right at the moment, I have more women than I have men who are coming, which is not common. And ultimately, what I'm trying to do is raise money for Space for a Better World, because, as you know, I do lots of big inspiration projects, like the thing I did in Atlanta, where I had the giant eco-friendly grass portrait of an astronaut with kids making space art. And I want to do more of those kinds of projects. And frankly, it's really hard to raise money for that kind of stuff. That's an investment in the future. That's an investment in young people of trying to inspire them. It's pretty hard to get companies, in spite of, everybody saying that they promote inclusivity and diversity and, education. It is very difficult to get money to actually do those kinds of inspiration projects. So my intention is to raise funds so that I can do more of that, because I do all of those things just out of my own time. I don't get paid to do them. I just do them because I think it matters. And so
absolutely,
I think it's helpful for people to understand what this is raising money for, is hopefully to help fund more projects to inspire kids through space and art and the wonder of space exploration, and with astronauts as part of it.
Yeah, for sure. And are there any other big projects planned for later in the year, or is that all a bit too secretive at the moment?
We're working on some more zero gravity flights. So
Amazing.
We're just in the process of trying to look at dates and schedules. And, it won't be just Charlie Duke, who has asked me. He does want to do another one. Nicole Stott and I have talked about doing some together. And then I've had a few other astronauts reach out to me saying, hey, if you want to do more zero gravity flights, I'm in. So,
Amazing.
So keep an eye out for that. That's just something right now we're in the process of trying to plan. And then the other thing I was going to say is that, people keep asking me about Apollo 17. Now, if I'm going to try to do something for Apollo 17, final 50th anniversary. So I keep saying, just let me get past May.
Absolutely.
Let me get past this one. But we are talking about it. We are talking about trying to do something that would be towards the end of the year to celebrate the final 50th anniversary of the Apollo mission.
Fantastic. That's what I want to hear. And it just dawned on me, actually, there's a shop in West London called Jedi Robes. So if anyone is going to the gala, doesn't know what they're going to wear for the after party, Jedi Robes, I think it's jellyrobes.com. That's actually on their shop front. Anyway, if you want an outfit for the party, there's your place.
Well, and I do have an idea of like maybe opening up a certain amount of tickets to people who can't come to the gala to come to the May the 4th Be With You, because I actually have a little bit bigger capacity at that venue. So, that's something that I may, decide to do some sort of promotion for, where we can open it up to kind of like a lottery or something where people, can submit their desire to come to the May the 4th Be With You after party. That's going to be, I think.
Yeah, it will be. That's going to be great. Actually, it might be a nice way to raise some more money for the charity as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll let you go because I know you've got a flight to catch. But thanks so much for telling us about your plans, and thanks for organising this for Charlie as well, because with so many of the 50th anniversaries having to have events remotely, it's great to see that Charlie gets to celebrate properly. And I know people like myself love to see these guys getting their moment.
Well, and I think the other astronauts, they're excited about it too, because they were inspired by all the Apollo missions, and so I think my hope is to really, do this big for Charlie. I know there's some other celebrations here in America, but like you say, they're not quite as public, I don't think. And so even though this is, I'm trying to make this a well-rounded 3-day event, so that it really does give people more access than they maybe usually get. So, people can keep an eye on the website, aimhighergala.com, or they can go to spaceforabetterworld.com as well if they want to learn more.
Well, thank you very much. I'll speak to you very soon.
All right, thank you.
Doing just like old 97, really moving down the track. Almost as fast as John was driving that rover yesterday.
All right. That was a lot of fun. I can't wait to see. Unfortunately, I'm still recovering, so I can't really do any transatlantic travel probably for a little while, but that event sounds like it's going to be so much fun. And of course, the great Charlie Duke is going to be there. Yeah, I think, Ken Mattingly is still alive, but he doesn't do a lot of events really. So what do you think, Dave?
I'm just super happy it's happening in London. So this free event on the Monday, I mean, why wouldn't you want to go to that? If you're free, get down there. It's a free ticket event. You'll have to order a ticket. And as soon as the tickets are available, I'm going to be posting a link on social media, so keep an eye out for that. But I don't know exactly who's on that panel, but it's great that there's something happening. It's just great that there's something happening that anyone can get to and get your kids along to and all that kind of stuff. And of course, if you're going, let me know, because I'm definitely going to try and be at that one myself. So let's have a little meet up. Why not? But then the gala and the after party event, I mean, they just sound incredible. If you can afford to get there, why wouldn't you? And the photos of previous events look amazing. And Charlie's going to get an award. Poppy Northcutt's getting an award.
Wow.
The Inspiration 4 crew are getting an award. I don't know if all those people... Well, I know Charlie's going to be there. I know Dr. Sion Proctor's going to be there, but I'm assuming that means that Poppy's going to be there and some of the other crew members, perhaps, which would be amazing. But also Tim Peake's confirmed, Nicole Stott's confirmed, Suzanne Corain's confirmed, Michael Lopez Alegria's confirmed.
Oh, wow.
Naoko Yamazaki's confirmed, Soyeon Yi's confirmed. Great cast list of astronauts, and I believe there might be some more yet to be confirmed. So if you can get down there tonight with some astronauts, I mean, why wouldn't you? And then this after party on the next day. And Emily, I've got a question for you, right? I don't know if Charlie Duke is definitely going to the after party, the Star Wars party, but if you have to put Charlie Duke in a Star Wars outfit, what would you make him go as?
Oh, he's got the Force, so definitely he'd be Duke Skywalker.
Amazing.
Horrible. Yeah, he'd be Luke Skywalker. If John Young was still alive, he was probably the hairiest member of Apollo 15, so he'd probably be Chewbacca. Please, John Young's family, do not come after me. I'm trying to think what else. We got to make like the whole like backup crew, and we got to give them all like Star Wars roles.
All right, okay. So okay, let's think of Ken Mattingly first then. I think he's the cute, cuddly one, so we'll call him an Ewok. I want to see Ken Mattingly dressed up as an Ewok, please.
That would be adorable. Adorable. He didn't get the measles, but he got to dress up as an Ewok. So yeah, he got to, that would be awesome.
Oh, we mentioned him earlier, but Fred Hayes was the backup commander there, wasn't he? So
yes, yeah, he was. He was the backup commander for 16, and Rusa was the backup command module pilot, and Mitchell was the backup. Was the backup LMP. So,
all right, what are we thinking then?
I think Fredo would be, honestly, because Fredo is like the Mr. Pilot. He's like one of the consummate pilots. He would probably be like Han Solo or something like that, Except, well, Han Solo has a gun as well. Yeah, he'd be Han Solo. Pretty badass. Pretty badass guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I just had another thought, actually, for Ken Mattingly. It was bald. Maybe he could have been C-3PO, super intelligent as well. Just maybe that's not right, but another option for Ken Mattingly there.
That's true, yeah. He could be C-3PO. Yeah, just put him in like a gold outfit. Yeah.
Perfect. What about Ed Mitchell?
Mitchell was kind of, short and kind of squat, like sort of chunky, so maybe he'd be R2-D2. I don't know.
Could you imagine that? That'd be hilarious.
That's kind of messed up. I like Ed Mitchell. I'd never really met. Well, it's weird. I don't know if I met him officially. Like I walked past his table a few times, but he was, and I think I went to an event where he was speaking once. So I never like went up to him and was like, "Hey, Ed Mitchell." He was one of the guys who was so smart that I was kind of like intimidated,
Yeah, for sure.
So I never really talked to him, which I kind of regret now because he passed a few years back. Yeah, and Rusa. I'm trying to think of who could Rusa be. Oh my God. Maybe Boba Fett. I don't know. Maybe Boba Fett.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. I think, Boba Fett, why not? Rusa for Boba Fett. He was the smartest dressed, so...
Yeah, he was kind of a badass, like a bounty hunter, kind of...
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Mysterious. Yeah, of had an air of mystery. You didn't see him all the time,
Oh, yeah.
We could go a while with this. We could do, like, the entire support crew and the entire, like...
Is Chris Kraft Yoda?
I guess he would be, maybe. I know part of the support crew was Carr and Pogue, so they would probably be the
band.
Yeah, I forgot what the band. My brain is still like kind of waking up after surgery, so I forgot what the band was called and what the bar is. But I know they're in the movie.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, they're in the movie. I know they show up in the movie, and there's the band playing, and I'm like, what? They had a bar? Like what?
That's cool. Deke Slayton or Al Shepard, Obi-Wan as well.
Yeah, Obi-Wan, Deke Obi. Yes.
Yeah.
I think Deke is definitely Obi-Wan.
Deke's got to be. Yeah, there it is. There it is.
This is not the crew you were assigned for. Like, yeah, you would have Jedi mind tricks. Like, you actually want to fly on this mission. You don't want to fly on that one.
I'm going to go Reen Carpenter for being Princess Leia.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So yeah, we're getting it all done now, aren't we? Look, there we go.
Yes, Star Wars fancy dress party. Yes, absolutely.
I just really hope Charlie's going and he's wearing some kind of Jedi robe, because actually at his current age, I really hope he is Obi-Wan, because I think that would be amazing if he comes in a robe looking like Obi-Wan. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, he'd be the kind of the elder. I mean, elder in a respectful way, like somebody who's really awesome. Yeah, the elder Jedi who's just totally badass, who's seen everything and been to the moon. That would be amazing. I hope he does show up and he's wearing a Jedi outfit. That would be friggin' the height of awesome.
Yeah,
so
incredible.
I hope we see that in the photos. I highly encourage Charlie Duke to do this. Okay.
Duke Skywalker. I mean, it's just made for him, isn't it? It's perfect.
Exactly. That would be amazing.
Isn't it great, though, that Apollo 16 is getting some events, because COVID just took away any opportunity for 13, 14 and 15 to have these in-person events. And it's nice that actually we get to come back and celebrate these a little bit. And there'll be events hopefully for 17 as well later in the year. So we've not lost the whole of the 50th anniversary. And hopefully they can get out and celebrate and be celebrated for their achievements. If
Absolutely.
they want to be, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like what Christina said, I never really thought about before, but it totally makes sense. It's to me, it's very sad that 16 never got like any like fun, like a world tour or anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that makes sense because they had to go back to work immediately, because they had to support 17 because everything was really wrapping up around that point. And I'm like, man, that's really kind of sad. Like unfortunately, John Young, passed away a few years back, and now you can't just go backwards, so it is sad.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad to see that 16 is getting some very late but some really good recognition overseas.
Absolutely. I hope it's well supported as well. And of course, if you are someone who can afford to get along to the gala, please do support this, because it's also helping out charity, which is great. But yeah, if you can't, then keep your eyes peeled on our socials, because we will post a link as soon as tickets are available for the free event on the Science Museum on the 2nd of May. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
As always, you can watch the full unedited interview if you signed up to be one of our Patreons, which you can do at patreon.com/spaceandthings. And within the show notes, we'll have links for the events and other things that we've discussed in the interview, as Dave previously mentioned for the event. You can find the show notes on spaceandthingspodcast.com.
What a ride, what a ride.
And so on to this week's news and sport. Since last week's recording, there has actually only been one launch, which seems crazy. I remember when we first started doing this, it wasn't guaranteed there was a launch every week, but it has seemed to have been that way for a while. And that launch was a Long March 6A rocket launched in China by the China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation. But there are at least 4 launches planned between today, which is Tuesday the 29th of March as we record, and our next recording date, including the next suborbital Blue Origin flight with a crew of 6. It was supposed to happen today, but it got delayed because of wind. We've all been there. So hopefully that will take place the day this podcast is released. And also by the time this podcast is out, we should have 3 humans back on the ground after a stint on the ISS, including Mark van der Hey, who has now set a NASA record for the longest spaceflight of an astronaut, which is 355 days. But that's actually still a long way short of the all-time record of Valery Polyakov, the cosmonaut who spent 437 days in space in 1994 and 1995 on a single mission. But it would be great to have Mark van der Hey back, and well done, sir. Well done.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how he'll look when they pull him out of the Soyuz, because he's probably going to be... he might look very good. He's probably worked out a ton up there, so he might be in very good shape. I don't know if I would be in good shape, but the astronauts, he's probably worked out a bunch, so we'll see.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he'll look better than Polyakov did back in 1995.
Oh my God. I remember seeing that, and I was like, oh, he doesn't look like he's feeling too good. Looks a little green, so kind of like a wet noodle. Kind of limp, but he'll be all right, though. So last week, our big story was the rollout of the Artemis 1 rocket at Kennedy Space Center. So here's a little update about what's going to happen next. Technicians have been working through their checklist to see if the rocket on the pad is ready for the wet dress rehearsal. This test takes the rocket and Orion spacecraft through almost all of their launch pad activities, including fueling the rocket. It's called the wet test precisely because they are fueling the rocket. It's been announced that this is going to happen on April 3rd. Once that test is complete, we're not sure of the exact timeline, but NASA will set an official launch date after analyzing all the data from that test. It's tentatively expected to take place in May or June.
That's going to come around quick as well, isn't it?
It sure is. Yep, it'll be fast.
And as a result of this wet test, the first all-private crewed mission to the International Space Station is being delayed until April the 6th at the earliest. The Axiom 1 mission will launch 4 astronauts on a SpaceX Dragon capsule on an 8-day mission, and it's been delayed a few times already. But this time, it's because the countdown clocks are all going to be used for the wet dress rehearsal.
Wow. We have some more Artemis news, too. You may remember that last year there was a lot of drama about which company would provide the new lunar lander for the Artemis program. Originally, it was announced that SpaceX was chosen with the Starship spacecraft to be the sole lander that NASA was backing, but this prompted Blue Origin and Dynetics to protest as they weren't chosen and the timeline had changed due to Congress. not committing to funding the two different programs. Well, NASA has this week announced that they are once again seeking a second company that they will also fund to build a lunar landing spacecraft. They've been given assurances that the budget is there, and President Biden has also requested a $26 billion NASA budget to fund Artemis, Earth science, and more, with the explicit goal of taking people to Mars by 2040. This would be an 8% budget increase for NASA. The whole lunar lander story has nearly as much drama as the rocket which crashed into the moon recently.
Talking of which, I know everyone loved that story, so I'm actually going to put an article in the show notes from a planetary scientist who's hoping that the incident will shed some light on the mysterious physics of planetary impacts. I'm sure you can't wait to read that one. Actually, it's going to be interesting to find out if they can learn something from this. But yeah, what a drama that story was.
Yeah, it sure was. Meanwhile, on Mars, it's now been announced that the plan to bring back the samples being collected on the planet by the Perseverance rover has been delayed by 2 years, and it's now unlikely they'll be back on Earth by 2033. This is because the mass of the proposed spacecraft was too much, and it will require a dual landing architecture, or two different landers. That's going to require more budget and more development time. We're quite used to delays in space flight, though.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Chinese have been talking about their Chang'e 7 lunar mission, which it hopes to launch around 2024. They're developing a series of robotic spacecraft to land on the moon and search for water at the lunar South Pole. This does sound really interesting, actually. They're developing a special spacecraft that could detach from a lander and fly or hop to survey nearby craters. However, they're predicting a difficult landing at the South Pole with only 1/10 of the area being appropriate to land on. So therefore, extreme precision will be needed to land that craft. And Pete Conrad's not around anymore, so they're going to struggle there. The Chang'e 6 mission will also take place in 2024, and that's going to attempt to bring some samples from the South Pole from the far side of the moon, building on the success of Chang'e 5, which delivered a sample to us fairly recently. Also, they've announced that Chang'e 8 will follow them both, and this mission will test resource utilization, oxygen extraction, and 3D printing on the moon. Technologies they need to test if they're going to have a lunar base in the future. So, exciting times for moon travel with Artemis and China getting in the action. It's a lot of action going on the moon.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot happening there. Well, if we've talked about the moon and Mars, we should also talk about the sun. The Solar Orbiter mission made its closest approach yet to the sun on Saturday, March 26th. The ESA mission, which did have contributions from NASA, got as close as 30 million miles, or 48.3 million kilometers, and has broken its own record for the closest images of the sun ever taken. This roughly 1/3 of the distance from the sun to the Earth, which may still seem like a long ways out, but we've not been able to do this before, and the sun is pretty hot, so clearly that's close enough. NASA's Parker Solar Probe is getting a lot closer to the sun, just a few million miles out from its surface, but the heat means that it cannot have a sun-facing camera. Last Thursday, March 24th, the European Space Agency released an image from the Solar Orbiter that was exactly half the distance between the sun and the Earth, and it's a very impressive image. So we're excited to see what it looks like from 1/3 of the sun-Earth distance.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that this is a close approach. It's still only 2/3 of the way there from Earth, isn't it? But that's how crazy the sun is. Yeah,
the sun is nuts, and it has so much. Obviously, it's got so much heat, and it's got so much energy, and it's so chaotic. So yeah, it's kind of nuts to think, oh yeah, it's a million miles away, but that's actually pretty close.
And finally, last week we mentioned that SpaceX said that they were planning on trying their first orbital test launch of the Starship rocket. And they were planning on doing that in May, assuming that the results of the US Federal Aviation Administration's environmental review are completed and positive, obviously. However, it's just been announced that this review will now be delayed by a month. So as Emily said earlier, we are quite used to delays in spaceflight. So assuming that this review is positive for SpaceX, there is still a chance that this test flight could happen in May. So again, a massive month for test flights of big rockets in May and June. I mean, there's so much to look forward to over the next couple of months, not just events and like we've discussed, but also the launches of new rockets. You know, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun couple of months.
Yeah, I'm trying to ramp up for it because, yeah, April, May, June are going to be huge, just big months. I'm looking forward to it. This year will be awesome.
Absolutely.
John, look at that footprint. Look underneath that regolith. When you pick that up, a centimeter or so under it, it's white. Absolutely white right here.
That's it for this week. Thank you very much for listening. We've got some great stuff lined up for you over the coming weeks, and there's a lot of great stuff coming up that we've discussed, so please make sure you've subscribed. And if you can drop us a review, that would be wonderful. We've seen a lot of you sharing the podcast recently or posting photos of you in your Space and Things t-shirts, so thank you for that too.
Yeah, huge thanks for that. It's really great to see. If you don't have one, you can join the party by either joining our Patreon page, as we mentioned earlier, or going to our merch store on our website, spaceandthingspodcast.com. But Emily, I'm not sure if you've heard about this drama on the International Space Station this week. One of the astronauts declared, "I can't find any milk for my coffee." And the other turned around and says, "In space, no one can hear you scream."
I get it.
I'll get my coat.
Space and Things has been brought to you by And Things Productions.